Hey, it's Reed from Emerald Lotus Divination, and today we are going to be doing an unboxing of this deck that I actually have no idea what it is. So, my mother-in-law sent me this mystery deck. Came with a beautiful card, a coming soon, as well as a really beautiful print. And then there's just a little message here, dying to share my recent deck. So it came with this really cute card. Don't know how she managed to do that. I'm not sure if she bought it as a gift or how she ended up being able to put this card in, but I don't believe it's her writing, so I believe it was whoever sold her the deck that did that for her. So I'm really excited to see this deck. Like I said, you guys will have a better idea of what it looks like than I will because you'll have seen the title and the thumbnail. So this looks like it says Superlunaris. My mother-in-law reads tarot, as I think you guys know by now. So she told me that this is one of her favorite decks right now, but I haven't actually seen it or heard of it, I don't think. So it's very beautifully wrapped. I will have this deck linked below if you're curious about it or want to check it out. I'll find out where she got it, where it's available. Belonging to a higher world, it says. So it's a 78 card deck, reworking of Rider-Waite-Smith, designed for personal development, transformation, and empowerment for all. So already I'm very into this. And I'm very excited to be doing an unboxing. Had a new deck in my collection in a little while for me. I know I'm really blessed with a lot of decks coming and going, so it hasn't actually been that long in reality, but it does feel like it's been a little while. So here's the box. The box is beautiful. Okay, so it's like a flip top box. Really nice. These colors are outstanding. So, okay, this looks to be the guidebook. It is just a little pamphlet. I love that, really simple. So what we'll do is what I always do in my unbox, and we will look through all the cards and then we'll pull a card and actually see what the guidebook has to offer at the end of the unboxing. So I'll put this aside for right now. And this is our first glance at the deck. It's wrapped really nicely in here. This box is really, really sturdy and nice. I love the flip top. It's really nice. This feels to be like a recycled piece of paper or something. Oh wow, so the back of the cards is stunning. Holy smokes, this is really beautiful. The colors are, oh, so gorgeous. And okay, so the cards feel slippery so far. They're not matte, but they feel quite sturdy actually, very sturdy. The edges are rose gold in this deck, which is so unique. I don't think I have any decks in my collection that are rose gold like this. And the cardstock feels very, very thick, but it feels like it'll get smoother as you shuffle. It feels like one of those decks that you could definitely break in. And the cardstock itself feels quite thick, honestly, compared to a lot of cards. This definitely feels quite hardy. But the size is very standard for a tarot deck, which is really nice as well. It's not too small and not massive like an oracle deck. So let's go through these. First of all, we're seeing like a collage element to this deck, which is really cool. We see a lot of colors. There's a lot of energy in this. And we see the Fool with his dog. This is really cool. I love the 0 at the top for the number. It's really cute and well done how it has like a background to it, as well as the Fool at the bottom, which leads me to believe that it's going to be carried through the deck really nicely and not have to like change color or anything like some decks do. Oh wow, this one is so powerful. I adore that. Wow, this deck is phenomenal. I can't believe I haven't heard of this deck before. Let me know if you guys have heard of this one. High Priestess, wow. And you still get the traditional pillars on either side of her in black and white as well. And then some of the traditional elements of the colors in this as well. So I can definitely see what she means by saying that it is based on the Rider-Waite, but it strays. Okay, this one is absolutely my favorite so far. Look at that energy. This card, I think this actually might be one of my favorite Empress cards of all time. I'm just gonna go ahead on a limb and say that right away. The Emperor, amazing. I love that they're like in the White House, or it has something to do with like politics. We're really getting like judicial or some sort of political, really like boss energy. Hierophant, love this. Totally reminds me of some of my travels. Oh wow, this is so unique for a lover's card. My goodness, I love that. Wow, this deck is really blowing me away, I must say. Oh, this is amazing. So she's in a wheelchair. So imagine getting through the sand on a wheelchair like this, and she's got her, you know, friendly dog companions. That is incredible. So unique and well done. Strength. Beautiful. You really get the grace element of the strength card. The Hermit in practice and ritual. This is really unique because some of the cards are kind of dark, which I don't usually gravitate towards, but I really love it. There's still a lot of detail in it. Oh wow, this one looks like Daenerys Targaryen. If anyone has watched Game of Thrones, that's the energy that I'm getting from this Justice. Okay, the Suspended One. So we've changed the name of Hanged Man to be Suspended One. I like that actually. It really makes us think more in our modern term because hanged has such a specific context right now for us. So suspended is really nice because it really does give us the fresh perspective element, because instead of being hung as we're used to experiencing it through our narrative, suspension really gives us the idea that she has chosen to hang herself or suspend herself. It's more of a shift of perspective rather than being hung. I really like that language. Oh wow, this one is really cool. This definitely gives me like super ego energy with like an iceberg almost under the ground. That's so crazy. Got the Tower. Classic. It's very fantastical, mystical, ethereal. The blues in this one are amazing. Very cute. Ooh, that one's so cool. Very Portal-esque, transformative, higher energy. Oh my, this one is stunning. I love her use of nudity in this deck as well. It's very powerful and raw. And now we're moving into the minors. So this one is an Ace of Wands. Doesn't actually have any indicator that it is the ace or that it is a wand. Just fine, just something worth noting. I love this one. Planning out where to go. I'm very excited to use this deck. I thought this was a queen at first. A lot of movement in this deck, a lot of intentional movement, almost like Dancer. Whenever deck creators do this card, they always stay very true to the traditional Rider-Waite with the arrows flowing. It's so funny. It's one of the cards I find just stays always so true. People never want to put people in it. Now we're getting into some of the court cards of the wand suit. Again with almost those dancer poses. Because you have some tattoos, hey? Some tattoos. We see a lion, we see the lizard. There's a lot of the elements. Sunflowers over here as well. We've got an arch. There's a lot of really cool symbolism in this deck. That's beautiful. Okay, so the Two of Cups is her own reflection. Wow. So we're going more of the inward Two of Cups, the self-compassion, self-love, self-care element of the Two of Cups, which is so often undervalued in the tarot. So I love that. Love the diversity in this deck. She has such beautiful models used. The imagery in this deck is very, very powerful. I feel like it's going to give great readings. Sometimes, you know, you just have a vibe with the imagery, and I feel like this is going to be very indicative of specific instances and messages. I love the small details. It just allows your intuition to really flourish when there's small details in a deck. And as you progress on your tarot journey, you notice different details. And just as you progress as a human in general, different details, different symbols come to light for you. They mean something different to you at different times in your life. So I love decks that actually incorporate a lot of that symbolism, because although you may not use it right away, you may not even notice it right away, I love decks where you can own them for years and you still notice details in them that you may have missed in the past. That's just creates such a longevity in a deck. It makes it so sustainable for your practice, and it becomes something that you actually want to use over time, that isn't just like a one-time purchase that sits and becomes dusty on your desk. I love when there actually is a use for them over a long period of time, because you notice so many more elements to the deck. And it means that it can speak to you for a lot longer, because tarot decks, in a sense, like I almost view them as like fashion, right? Like they become such a trendy thing right now, and there's so many different variations and types and colors and designs that we can almost choose them as we would choose an outfit of the day. And so I think it's becoming increasingly important to really place importance on the types of decks we actually want, that we're actually going to use for long term, so that we're not just wasting our money, wasting resources, you know, hurting the environment by shipping and creating and then discarding of. Like, there's really a need for us to have decks that we actually want to use over a long period of time. At least for myself, I noticed that with a lot of decks coming in, and now that I've been reading for about a decade, it's really become increasingly important for me to have decks that I feel connected to over long periods of time. I also just feel like it helps my readings to have decks that I work with for long periods. I become so much more connected to them and inspired by them. And this deck, with all that said, absolutely feels like one that could be that for many people, just because of the intense colors, the intense symbolism, the emotion, the movement. There's a lot going on, but it's in a way that feels very peaceful. It's not in a chaotic way at all. It's very intentional. There's a lot of power. Like, look at that, the element of like abandonment and discarding, and it's just, this is so incredible. The artwork in this deck kind of reminds me of the Modern Love deck that I rave about a lot. It's kind of similar in the style of art, just with the colors and the brush strokes. It is still very different though. This one has much more of a collage element to it, like this photo for instance. Wow, look at all that, so transformative. We get so much energy around her mind as well. Very cool. Okay, wow. So there's like a channeling aspect to this. Oh my goodness. I love that. And here we are with our final suit of the deck. We're in Pentacles, which I think might be my favorite. Love Pentacles. Always love the cards. Oh wow. Here's that print that we saw at the beginning as well. Beautiful. Oh wow, this one is phenomenal. Look at those colors. My goodness, so, so, so beautiful. Wow. Okay, so that is our first look at the deck. I'm going to shuffle these up right now, and we will take a look at how the guidebook performs with one card. Okay, so while I was shuffling these guys, they did get a little bit bent, but I was doing it like very intensely shuffling this. And I think with a nice bend, yeah, we get back to pretty straight, but I did want to point that out. Also, I do love, again, the backing of these cards, especially because you can't tell which ones are upright and which ones are reversed, which seems like a basic thing, but lately I've been seeing more and more decks with a backing that indicates which way is upright and which way is reversed, which I hate. I really hate that. And I believe that this little guidebook only includes upright. Yes, so we will be reading the card upright, okay? So I'm just going to cut the deck, see what our message is today. Okay, King of Swords reversed. So we're gonna be reading the King of Swords upright for this one. So we have the major arcana on one side of the pamphlet, and we have the swords over here. It's very small writing. So it says, intellectual, curious, rational, logical, observant, innovative, unemotional, balanced, assertive, fair, an invitation to speak our truth, using words to spark change. So definitely very, very, very basic. If you're buying a deck for a guidebook, this wouldn't be it. Sorry, there's always so much traffic around my place. I think I need to get an external mic now so I can dull out the traffic outside my window. I'm sorry. But anyways, what was I just saying? Someone honked and I got really confused. Basically, if you have a guidebook or a book or a resource or you don't use them, then this deck would be amazing. But for a beginner that's just starting out, this would be rough, just having this, I think, unless you are comfortable and used to using like online resources or buying a guidebook on Etsy or just an alternative guidebook. But I don't mind the guidebook personally for this type of artwork and these beautiful cards. I am more than happy to just not have a guidebook. So I'm very excited to read with these. They are so, so beautiful, and I am so grateful to my mother-in-law for sending me this amazing deck that, like I said, I hadn't even heard of. So very exciting to find a new deck. I will absolutely have to check out the deck creator and find out more about them, because it doesn't actually say anything about them on the box or the guidebook at all. So I have no idea who created this deck, but I will have their information linked below, as well as how you can access this deck if you want to check it out for yourself. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.